there's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
Welcome back to VIR. It's a beautiful day here in the heart of Virginia, just outside North Carolina as well, because it's right on the border. And we are live from VIR International Raceway, and it's a fantastic day as we get ready for our second Formula 4 race of the day. And we have big ceremonies. We are celebrating the late Andy Scriven, who was a big part in putting Formula 4 on the map here in the USA, as has been the Ligier development of the car and the future of Formula 4. So without further ado, let's go down to the grid and join John Phippen, who of course is the main announcer for the series, who will have all the information and all the latest on what's going on as our pre-grid gets ready for Formula 4 USA.
Thanks, Jonathan. Welcome to the False Grid as we're getting ready to kick off our pre-race ceremonies to get this second race of the weekend for the F4 U.S. Championship underway. If you would, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise and remove your cover, as I'd like to introduce from Road Race Ministries, Bill Knox, to deliver our invocation.
If you'll join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, as we come to you in prayer, we ask that you hold all the drivers, the fans, the spectators, all the officials, you hold them in your hand. Father, you give them the knowledge, the wisdom, the patience for this entire race. And most of all, Father, that you bring all the drivers home safely. And Father, we ask that you also hold on to our first responders, our police, and our military, Father, as they stand to protect us so we can do the things that we enjoy truly doing. In your Son's most precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that very much. Let's go right into ask you to remain standing as we have our national anthem singer, local singer, Carrie Dallas. Carrie, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Dallas. What a great rendition of our national anthem. Carrie, thank you very much. I'd like to bring David Cooper up here so we can chat. We've got just a few seconds, a couple minutes before we give the command. David, You're with Ligier, have been since the beginning.
Yep.
So you saw the genesis of this car. We certainly want to. I want to get a clear path to the microphone here. We certainly want to acknowledge Andy Scriven. This is the Andy Scriven Memorial Weekend. I knew Andy reasonably well. You knew him a lot better than I did. Tell us a little bit about Andy and what a character he was.
Well, Andy was, I'm going to say he was part, I like to call it the three amigos. That would be me, Max, and Andy. And Andy is an extremely talented designer and engineer. He's been around a long time in motorsport. And I think his car lasting 8 years out here has definitely shown exactly what he can do.
You know, his emphasis was so much with driver comfort, making it easy for the driver to deal with, but also for the mechanics to work on the car.
Oh yeah, I mean he come from a background of working on the cars himself, so he knew exactly what you need to work on the cars for the mechanic and engineers and anybody that needed to work on a car. Andy knew exactly what was required.
We're in the middle of a bit of a changing of the guard because the new car's been announced. It's here this weekend, or has been running. It's not yet fully homologated, but it's the Ligier JS F4 You've got a whole new gang of designers working on that car in conjunction with everybody at Ligier Automotive North America. We're really excited to see it on track next year. How is the development going, and are you selling a lot of them?
Well, the development's going really well. I mean, I'd just like to say there's Andy's influences in this car as well. You know, I mean, the designer is a guy called Chris Rustrom, very talented young man, and I think the car will show. We've had it out here running this week, and I think we just proved the fact that it's got, well, the potential that it has. So we're looking forward to next year and everything, well, rocking and rolling and racing.
Yeah, it's an all-new car, all-new power plant, the Ligier Storm engine, which is a bit of a departure from what we've run up to this point. We understand it's 50% more aerodynamically efficient.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's taken 8 years in development to get that. The engine, yeah, it's a unique part of the car. It's a V4. It's 1650 cc. So I think everybody be surprised. It's got the power, and obviously we'll prove its longevity next year.
We saw it out in testing on Thursday when it was able to run with these cars, and by my unofficial reckoning, it was about 3 seconds a lap faster.
Yeah, I mean, we're calculating roughly 2 seconds a mile, so depending on the whichever circuit we go to, you know, obviously a longer circuit, then it's going to be a lot quicker.
Tell us a little bit about the drivers that have worked with. I know Dakota Dickerson has been there. Ryan Yardley driving it this week, and Dakota wasn't able to join us because of COVID, I'm told. But you've had some other drivers that have had some seat time, Alex Berg, among others.
Yeah, Alex did an absolutely fine job. I mean, you know, hats off to him. It certainly helped for this weekend because he'd done a lot of work in the car. And I think, you know, young drivers in cars showing exactly what they're capable of doing is something that's been very fortunate.
We'll talk to David in just a few minutes because you're going to deliver the commands to get this affair started, so don't go far away. I'm going to see if I can get Max Crawford to join us. Max, come on, let's talk. Max is the man who makes these cars possible, and back in the day when it was called Crawford Composites.
That's correct, yeah. So it's come a long way, isn't it, in a long time.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, we've got now on our second generation Formula 4, and we're also working on our second generation F3 car. So yeah, and we're now in the manufacturing business for engines.
I love it. Tell us. I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me your favorite Scrivy story that you can share publicly.
Oh, Lord, you have to give me a second here. So you obviously know that Scrivy had a wicked sense of humour. And so his deal was he always used to like to dress up. He would always wear hats, had these terrible shoes, always had big pointy toes on his shoes. But I can't think of something that I would want to repeat, to be honest with you. I'm perfectly honest with you.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you have certainly put me on the spot. Yeah, no, but he was like a really, really fantastic guy. He, as Dave pointed out, he was like a brother to us, and we missed him obviously very, very much. But I always used to have coffee with him every morning, and in the evening we would go through the design parts that we did during the day and so forth. So, yeah, we miss him a lot.
I'll tell a story on myself about Scrivy. In the very first race at Mid-Ohio back in 2015, I was thrust into this role, which I've been able to hang on to ever since. And we were waiting at the podium. And Scrivy, of course, as Scrivy is wont to do, he had his shoulder-length hair, he had his cowboy hat on, he was wearing his duster and his cowboy boots. And I leaned over to somebody and I said, is that one of the guys from the team? Or, is he a PR person? They said, no, he designed the race car. So that was my first introduction to Scrivy, and I got to know him after that.
Yeah, as I said, he loved to dress up. Yes, he did. He played to the crowd for sure. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Max. Thanks so very much, and thanks for all you do for both of our series.
I'd like to thank Pirella Motorsports for what they do for us. Obviously, the huge support. Obviously, we've got a very bright future ahead of us, and we're really excited about it. So, thank you to everybody.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Max Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. David, don't go far. We still got just a little bit of time left, but we can look at some unusual faces at the front of the grid. We already talked a little earlier during the grid walk to Luciano Martinez from Scuderia Buell starting this race on the pole. These qualifying positions set by the fastest lap turned by each of these drivers in the race that just concluded this morning. And Luciano did a great job setting his first fastest lap of the season. So we'll see that 91 car for Scuderia Buell on the pole. Right next to him is the points leader. You can see the Ron Fellows Karting Championship logo next to Patrick Woodstoff, as Patrick is our points leader, a graduate of the Radford Racing Formula Development Scholarship, and coming right from go-karting into the F4 Series. And Patrick has led the way all season long with 10 victories. Next to him, Alex Berg. We just found out today that Alex will be departing for the Formula Ford Festival, and that's a great bit. We're going to miss him at COTA, but Alex has a bright future, and we hope to see him in our championship next year. So with that, let's get this show on the road. David Cooper from Ligier Automotive North America once again to deliver the command we've all been waiting for.
Drivers, start your engines.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Jonathan. I'll just give this whole thing back.
And with that, we get underway. A nice tribute to Andy Scriven. Sadly, not around anymore, but has put his life and soul into getting these cars and getting this championship off and running. And just to make you realize how special this particular set of racing is for USA. This is the first FIA homologated car ever made in the USA. So we've had plenty of design and plenty of cars made here, but not for the FIA. And when I say that, the Federation International Automobile is the governing body of sport, of the motorsport worldwide. And so to be part of an FIA championship is quite a privilege, because of course America has its own setup and own SCCA. So FIA has not had the same influence as it does in Europe and other parts of the world. So we're very proud to bring you an FIA sanctioned event. And of course we've got two here with the Formula Regional Championship. And of course they also count towards super license points to be in Formula One, and that's what a lot of these drivers here on this grid want to do. And if they don't do that, then there's all sorts of opportunities. It's very hard to be one of the 20 out in Qatar this afternoon, but that is the ambition of some of these youngsters here lining up in F4. I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin Jansen, who is racing himself this weekend in the Formula Regional Championship. Has done a fair few laps in these cars as well. Has just been out on track, so knows it well. Conditions set fair, much better than it was at the beginning of the day for these guys when they went out in the wet.
Oh yeah, watching them in the wet this morning looked pretty daunting as I was watching them go through the climbing S's, and it looked kind of scary. Saw a couple of the cars going side by side. That was a bit risky. One went off, but overall the conditions are much more favorable for racing this afternoon than they were this morning. I'm sure these drivers are looking forward to getting on it.
Yep, every minute counts in this lead up to the race. The championship on the line. We have 5 races to go, and the championship actually kind of got blown apart a little bit with both Costello going off and Patrick Woods-Toth, because the Canadian also had problems in the wet. Before we get underway, let me hear about your background, because you're an interesting character in terms of very few people of your experience go and carry on in single-seaters. What's your background? How did you get into motorsport?
Well, just love of the sport. I was fascinated by racing. I started in karting, enjoyed the shifter kart, and then did quite a bit of testing in the F4 car, but realized that at my age I wanted something a little safer, so I picked the F3 car with the halo, and it has better, I guess, just more downforce, probably a higher level quality race car, and so I chose to do quite a bit of testing in that before I started racing here. I've been around for quite a while on this circuit. I've been doing FR Americas now for, I guess, it's my 3rd year, and really enjoying it.
And how hard was it to get up to speed? I mean, obviously shifter karts, you know, a big jump. Have you done any other form of racing, any tin tops or anything like that?
No, I'm a hockey player.
So you're not frightened of anything then?
Well, yeah, we've won 3 national championships. Our hockey team. I'm an avid hockey player and tennis player, but this was something I just had to do. It was a bucket list item, and now that I do, I just love it. This is such a great sport.
We must know some of the cats out there, these youngsters, and it must be quite fun to actually see some of these guys making their way, because a lot of these guys are truly trying to make it to the very top.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. I've watched some of the kids coming through F4, and then they move on to F3, and even go through F3 and have done quite well. Like, I raced against guys that are now, knocking on the door of IndyCar and some other professional racing, IMSA and even WEC, and it's really kind of neat to see some of these names out there as they, excel in their careers, for sure. These kids out here, there's some super talent, and we know they're going to go places. These are the drivers of the future, and it's really exciting to watch them, as they do their stuff. F4 racing is super tight, and there's not a lot of room out there. It's pretty exciting for the fans because there's going to be some action out there. Often there's crashes, which is disappointing to the parents and the drivers, but I got to tell you, these guys fight, and they fight hard.
Yep, this is, if you like, the feeder series, the first ladder, if you will, to slicks and wings. And what we mean by that is, if you jump out of a go-kart, this is your first real race car, as they call it, because this is where you get data involved. This is where you get downforce involved. 160 brake horsepower, Honda Civic engine, putting out, like I said, about just over 160 brake horsepower. And you can get a pretty high speed when you are in this lightweight chassis. And really looking forward to the new look. I'm sure you saw it on Thursday. Chassis by Ligier. What do you think?
I think it's a great car. In fact, it's a car that I think all the up-and-coming F4 drivers are going to really enjoy. It's got some downforce, it's more carbon fiber, it's got a halo for safety. I think it's a proper race car, much more power on the engine. I understand that it's considerably quicker, so I think it's going to be pretty exciting for those future F4 drivers.
Let's talk about the lead up to a race. Take me through your systems check. We're going down the back straight, we're warming our tires, we're warming our brakes. What are you thinking about at this point?
Well, honestly, right now you're just trying to get some heat in the tires, and the more heat you have in the tires, the better grip you're going to have going in for your first lap. It's been a big challenge of mine is getting proper heat in and getting the confidence on lap 1. I tend to lose a lot there, but I think right now all these drivers are trying to get some heat in the fronts, and then near the completion of this lap, they're going to try to put some heat in the rear tires and for that standing start race. Going into turn 1 can be a bit daunting if you have tires that are not up to temperature or at least not able to take the brake at turn 1. So that's why we see a lot of little bumps, crashes, and slide throughs.
It's interesting. There's so many sensors on these cars, which all the engineers are reading, but the 2 sensors that you really need right now is to know what your brake temperature is and what your tire temperature is. But you really don't know that, do you?
No, you don't know it. One thing that's nice about our cars is we can do proper burnouts going up.
Yep.
And we have the power to do that, so it puts a lot of heat in the rear tires. These cars don't have quite as much power, so doing a proper burnout's more difficult.
Let me put you in midfield here, because I'm always juxtaposed or a little bit confused coming into VIR, because if I were in the middle of the field, I think my instinct would be to stay on the inside, but that's where the traffic jam forms. Then if you go the outside thinking, I'll stay out of trouble, that's where the dirt is and where the marbles from the previous race might be, and that's where it's hard to get back inside and you can lose time. Which way would you go if you were in a... You just got to make that decision when it happens, right?
Well, if you're on the outside lane, you're going to try to find a gap, and those that are inside have that inside advantage already. The inside's going to be a little bit dirty right now, but as I see it, I would try to look for the gap and try to find a position where you're not going to have any conflict or collision.
Away goes Luciano Martinez then as the race gets underway, and we are looking to see what Patrick Woods-Toth. Both Martinez and Woods-Toth had a terrible start to their day, and they're trying to make amends here as they dive into the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers Turn 1. The horseshoe as it's known traditionally, but everybody so far except for one just taking to the grass, and that is that outside line I was talking about, which can let you get hung out to dry, and it's very tight coming through too. And Martinez losing several places. He's down in third now, having started from the pole and now having to fight for third, but he's done so and stays there as we go through Snake for the first time. And through the Optima Battery Snake, as we're calling it this weekend, and under the bridge for the first time. Good clean start though.
Looks good, looks good. And as the race progresses, we get a little bit of separation. We might stay green on this one.
Yeah,
that looks a little dangerous going 2 by 2 through the S's. No collision. Looks good.
That is good, yeah. And we've seen some brave maneuvers there in several of the races earlier today, but it's really just one line, race line anyway, through there. Sadly for Martinez in the 91, he had an off earlier in this morning's race and got behind Alex Berg, and now you can see him side by side again, so he's already in the thick of it. As for the first time, we head down the back straight, and this is where you can get a slipstream.
Oh yeah, this is where we're going to see the cars all look for a draft and then try to make a move going into 14.
How much does a single-seater change? We've just had a Trans Am race, and obviously they're big, heavy monsters with a lot of fuel loads. How much does the car change as the race goes on?
Well, you find that the tire degradation is the big thing, and then as the race progresses, you're going to obviously have less fuel as it progresses, so the car will be lighter and a little bit quicker. But
does that make it tail happy?
Well, I would say on this track, the tire degradation probably on the left front is one to be considering because of the type of load that we see on that tire, as well as the left rear.
So they fly past our still camera there at speed, as you can see, but 27 of the championship leader from Canada, Patrick Woods-Toth, leading the way here. Alex Berg in the mix, and right with him, Daniel Cara right behind him in third. Last time out winner Soto Shiripa, his second win of the season this morning. He's in fourth at the moment. Martinez dropped all the way down to sixth place after that start. Titus Sherlock, who had a win at New Jersey, he's in seventh. Costello in eighth position, second in the championship, ahead of Jesse Lacey ninth, and Wiskinski, who also had an off and onto the grass. Several drivers having problems this morning, but it's perfect conditions as we go through the Optima Battery Snake yet again. Yeah, Martinez recovers well, but having started pole, he'd be disappointed to be down there.
Yeah, could be something with the tires as well. Maybe he had a bit of a lock.
Well, Alex Berg is bagged of confidence after a win in New Jersey, his first of the season, and now he's all over the champion, who has made hay and taken 2 wins so far, and leads with, going into the weekend, 36.5 points, and with 25 for a win, and 5 races, including this, to go. It's still wide open, and mathematically at the start of the day, some 11 drivers were all capable of winning the title. So it's far from over, and Woods-Toth, as you can see now, is not hanging about because he's under pressure and almost losing that lead to Berg, but holds on and leads again into the horseshoe. Good move from Berg. He put the pressure on.
Yeah, some good clean racing out there.
See where Titus Sherlock bounces out. He had a disappointing first race. He had a spin right on the last lap, and he was here in commentary with me, and so he's dying to bounce back and make something of this race. And The one thing I've noticed watching Formula 4 over the years is that you've got to be on point at all times, because the chances of a safety car or finishing under safety are high.
Yeah, over the last few years, we've seen a lot of that. But you know what? We've watched the race director, Scott Goodyear's really doing a good job at talking to the young drivers as they come from karting and getting them into the F4 to let them know just what's expected of them. And this crew here is doing a great job today. They're all separated. They're racing fair and tight. And it's looking good out there. You can see here's a move about to happen.
I can't think of a better race director for these youngsters than Scott Goodyear. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, many IndyCar races under his belt, and a lot of sports car racing. But more importantly, he is generous with his wisdom. He wants to teach these kids. He has done it. He knows how hard it is. He's not from a wealthy family. He's had to fight his way through to get through to lead the way in motor racing, and he's been at their level, and he knows what it takes, and it's patience and speed and wisdom and learning and all the rest of it, and he puts that into them each and every day. And that's why we see Kirkwood and many others making it all the way through. Dakota Dickerson, who was supposed to be here this weekend, sadly not, but that's why it's all that tutelage that goes on in the background that Scott does, and I just want to give him a little bit of kudos, because he doesn't often get it, and he's a man in the background, but working hard in race control.
Yeah, I think he does a great job.
So we've got a little breakaway group here of 3 cars, including Sutter Schreiber. There he is, in the 24, the man from Florida, and won the first race this morning in wet conditions. It was a wet race, the little car's going on wet weather tyres, and he's currently in 3rd position. There's nothing between the top 3. Woods top, leads them across the line again. Berg 2nd, Sutter Schreiber, then Cara, and then Awanio in 4th position, Cara now 5th, Costello in 6th place, Sherlock 7th, Lacey, Martinez and Benavides in 10th. Martinez is the one that's lost out, the 91 going all the way down to 9th place now. 2 women involved in this race as we celebrate women in motorsport. Greenmeyer, she's going to come and join me in the booth later this weekend. She's in 12th at the moment, and Ava Dobson making her first career season in this. She only is just old enough to get in the championship. She turned of age for qualification for this racing just this June, and has since been really enjoying it. Had a quick chat with her, and she's just worried about some of these high-speed corners and just how hard it is physically to be prepared for those, because you really are thrown around in these cars. Oh yeah, you take a physical beating going up those S's. You have to there's a lot of strength involved to hang on to the car, especially the F3 car. These cars here, as they approach the S's, I think they're probably doing about 120 miles an hour. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, and a lot of G-force acting on you. What you don't realize, and what many people who don't know racing or watch racing from a casual point of view don't realize, and I don't think young racing drivers get the credit they have for the type of workouts they need to do and the upper body strength. I was talking to Nicole Haverna this morning, and she was saying that she was an ex-swimmer, and she said she was butterfly, and it's put her in good stead for upper body strength that you need under G-force. Definitely.
The strength to hang on to the F3 is quite a bit more than most people would think. It looks kind of smooth from the outside as you're watching racing, but it's a lot of work. It's very, very physical and mental, and the physical strength to hang on to the car in certain kind of high G-force corners and high-speed corners, it's quite a workout, actually. I got a lesson and a half. The first time I ever got the ultimate chance, I got in a 2-seater Minardi with the then former world champion Damon Hill, who was still at the top of his game at that time, but was driving 2-seaters around Donington Park and offered me a drive or a sit in the back, and I just could not believe, and I remember saying it at the time because we did it for TV, but I said, this is violent. Yeah, because it really was, and it was wet actually, and so Damon was trying to kind of keep the temperature in the tires, but also give me an experience, and it was amazing. I could not believe just how violent it was. It's very, very physical. So we've got some good little battles going on here. Titus Sherlock all over. Meanwhile, at the front, here comes Berg, and he's all over Woods Toth at the moment.
The two Canadians going at it. And also Soda Shripa not holding back either in third place. They're weaving from side to side, trying to avoid that slipstream. And as you can see from above, car that is closest behind will get a little bit of a slipstream, but as you can see, Berg doing a very good job of just kind of moving from side to side and making sure he doesn't allow that slipstream, but it's happened, but onto the grass, and that may be something that our good friend Mr. Goodyear might have a look at. That was a little racy at speed like that.
that looked questionable.
Yeah, so we'll look at that and see if anybody says anything, but anyway, they are learning their craft, and it is a competition, and it is a championship, and there's a lot up for grabs. A scholarship into the Formula 3 or the Formula Regional Championship here in the USA. And another lap completed, but no gap, hardly any anyway, between Woods, Toth and Berg. Shripa still third, Cara fourth. Costello now moves up. Cara's actually moved up to fourth, and Costello now fifth. Sherlock now sixth. Lacey moves into seventh place. Buanio moves down. He's in eighth, and Martin has now dropped down to 10th in this race. The leaders pulling away at the front just a little bit, but enough to make a difference, and you can see it easy from the drone. You also can see the traffic ahead of those in the midfield and the mid-pack. This is tough when you're in, what, 4th, 5th or 6th position, because you're looking forward, but you have to look back as well, just in case.
Constantly, you have to know what's going on around you, and especially in this series, the cars are really tight together. Someone's going to get the draft on you, they're going to be approaching, and then you have to pay attention to what's going on in front of you as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of concentration involved.
Now, talking of draft, Berg, as you saw there in second place, here he is, right there, and in the draft, but in a position where he's really not in a position to overtake in this part of the circuit. Now, he'll line himself up and get out good drive out of here as best he can, and now's the time to look for that slipstream.
Yeah, and then you're going to see Woods Toth's moving around. He's trying to break that draft, and he's doing a pretty good job at it because he's keeping a decent distance from Berg. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and from above you'll see if Berg does get the draft, because he'll just start to just suck himself up towards the rear end, and now under braking that's what happens, but not as close as before. And Woods Toth doing a good job here, and likewise Soto Shripa right there in third. This is the roller coaster. Mission Foods roller coaster down towards Hogpen. Famous last corner here at VIR. So important to get that right. You don't want to wiggle out of the last corner, do you?
No, it gives you the run up to turn one. So getting a good exit is really, really important.
So then, here comes Berg for the lead now. And that's a beautiful overtake into the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn one. But just when he got it all right, he gets it all wrong. Ah, what went wrong there, Kevin? I didn't really see that.
It looks like he had, maybe there's a bit of contact. It's hard to tell completely, but it looked like there could have been.
Well, I can hear lots of screeching of wheels, yellow flags being flung. Let's have a look at it. And Kevin, I'll let you see the replay and you tell me what you see. Here it is. So coming down the straight, Berg gets into the slipstream, jinks out nicely. Now what?
Oh, it looks like he has a little wiggle there. My guess is he's hit some marbles. He's moving around. He got into a little bit of marbles, dirt on the tires, and
so nobody really hit him then?
No, that was self-induced.
Well, that's how quickly it can go wrong, and that's motor racing, folks. And it's
after all these races, there's a lot of marbles on the track there. So when he pulled out wide, his tires probably picked up, and a lot of pickup, and he just didn't get the braking that he expected.
So round goes Berg, and he'll have to build again, but that lets Soto Shripa into the mix, and in second place, 16 minutes to go, plenty of time yet. And like I said, always the possibility of a safety car and a high attrition rate in F4, because everybody's learning their racecraft. That's what it's all about. They get some 3 hours on track, which includes a little bit of testing, a little bit of practice, qualifying, and 3 races each and every weekend. And that's got to be good if you're learning your way.
Yeah, it really is. There's quite a bit of track time relative to other series. So this week we've had quite a bit. 4 testing sessions on Thursday, a couple of sessions Friday. We've got a couple of races today, and then a race tomorrow. So a lot of track time and a lot of development as we spend these weekends.
Well, Berg has dropped down, and I'm just trying to see where he pops out. I think he's in 12th at the moment, just ahead of Tyke Durst.
That's quite a shame. He was doing great. He put himself in contention there, and it was, that's a shame to see.
Yeah, he is. Just ahead of Durst and Zelenka in 14th, then Ava Dobson, the young female driver, in 15th position ahead of Lawley Bowling, DeFabis, Lim, and still at the front, though, Woods Toff doing a good job. He's been good. He's been consistent all year as Woods Toff, and even when he doesn't win, he's either second, third, he's in the top 5, and that's really what that consistency has allowed him to lead this championship.
Yeah, this is his first year racing, and he's excellent. Mature driver. He's doing a great job this year, and he's working with some great people with Crosslink Kiwi. I had to put a little hit over for Crosslink Kiwi. Tina and Gary, great people, and Gil, and they're doing a good job with him. And I must say, super impressive with Woods Toth, what he's doing this year. This is his first year, and he's just rising to the occasion.
Yeah, I can't think of a better team. If I were a 15-year-old or had a daughter or son that was that age, because you really want to have effectively a family feel to it. And when you've got Roberto Moreno, ex-Formula One, you've got Stephen Giles, ex-engineer for Mika Hakkinen. I mean, so many great folks, and then guys from the States that have got, so much experience in the engineering side, and then, of course, Gary and Tina.
Oh, yeah,
they're really good.
They're incredible. Roberto takes it super serious. I mean, he cares for all the drivers and what they're doing, and he even pays attention to an old guy like me.
Well, he relates to you.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I remember Roberto's career. He never really got the opportunity in Formula One that perhaps he deserved. He was always in a less competitive car than I thought he should be. But,
he has a great story, though. Like, I listened to some podcasts with him, and his story is fantastic. It's motivating. The guy is a pleasure to have around.
Oh, yeah.
I must say, he's changed everything at that team in terms of the coaching. He goes with each driver and spends the time, and it makes a huge difference.
Well, as you can see, we're under caution here, and Kevin, I'm going to let you describe what you do. Everybody does something different, but just like I said, we was talking to Nicole this morning, but the systems check is far more than just sitting behind the pace car and waiting. You've got a lot of work to do now, and that work is physical too, because now you've lost all the steering and the car's heavy. It's not the temperature's not right. Racing cars love to be going fast. That's when they're in their happy mode. It's now that they don't go well for you.
Yeah, yellows breed yellows. The issue here is the safety car goes so slow, you lose heat in your tires. And the other thing is, as you're weaving around, you're in pickup, and your tires aren't staying clean. So you have to keep heat in your tires for that restart, and that restart requires hot tires. Yeah. And right now we're losing heat. So as this restarts, that's where the excitement is, and hopefully all these guys and gals keep their tires warm, and we get a clean restart here.
Well, we saw in your race that the safety car played pretty much the biggest factor in who would win the race, because Callum Hedge made a mistake, Ryan Sheehan made a mistake. There was 2 safety cars, and Ryan just unfortunately didn't get the advantage of getting a restart.
Yeah, I think I caused one of those.
What happened to you?
Well, I had a completely new setup on the car, and I was just sort of getting used to it. I hadn't driven it like that, and I had driver error, and I went a little hot, had a touch of a spin, and then I had to sit and wait for count the cars to go by so that I didn't go out in the track. I was in a blind spot, so I had to wait for all the cars to go by, make sure that it was safe, and then I came onto the track, then got a new nose cone, and went back out there. So we're going to see probably a restart with a bit of drama going on. There's lots in line here. Yeah,
especially into that first corner. Woods Toss has got to be careful here. This is where championships, I noticed last year actually, Ryan Sheehan here at VIR took the pole and got into basically a dice into turn 1, came off worse, and it pretty much put paid to his hopes of winning the overall championship, which could have changed things, but you never know. And that's his racing, and it's so cutthroat. It's not like a football game or a soccer match. Your make and break in this game is so finite.
Yeah, it's either a win or a loss. I think Ricky Bobby said it best, didn't he? He happens to be my
If you're
hero.
not first,
you're last.
You're last.
Ain't first or last.
I love that. I was reading one of the one of the bios from one of the drivers that said, favorite driver, Lewis Hamilton, Ricky Bobby. It's like, there you go.
I think that was me.
I think it was. I love that movie.
Another shout out to Don Becklin.
Yeah?
Yeah, Don Becklin, quite a guy. He's helped me a lot, gives me a lot of coaching and motivational speaking. He helps.
I know the guy I was thinking of, Kazuba.
Kazuba.
Yeah, he's on the team as well, and of course his son raced.
Yeah?
Yep, raced in F4 and FR, I think. I don't think he's racing at the moment. Well, listen, we are under caution here in our second F4 feature race. So we're going to be under safety for probably another lap or so. So why don't we take a short break? You're listening to Kevin Jensen and Jonathan Green. We'll take a short break here from VIR. We'll be right back.
The Mission Foods Austin Speed Tour returns to Circuit of the Americas November 3rd through the 5th, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, International GT, FR Americas, and F4 U.S. Championship. Saturday, you can take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Lab. You do not want to miss the Mission Foods Austin Speed Tour November 3rd through the 5th. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
Welcome back to VIR. You can see they are just flying through. Well, not flying through, but they are gingerly making their way through the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers Turn 1. We are under caution here in our second F4 Americas race. Penultimate round of the series. They finished the championship at COTA early November. That's the 5th of November. So tune in wherever you are around the world on our live stream, and you'll be able to watch the culmination of a great season of racing. And you are looking at the future here. America is definitely making a mark in single-seaters, both in IndyCar and Formula One at the moment. Very exciting times for single-seater racing, and I'm sure you've watched Kevin, all the racing over the last 30 years, but it is an exciting time for American racing. We've got potentially a Formula One team on the offing. We've got Logan Sargent and a host of others, all capable of making it to Formula One. Colton Herta has been mentioned. I can't see why Kurtwood wouldn't be a very, very good Formula One driver.
I agree with you. I think the Andretti bid for an F1 team is quite legit. It's a team that has pedigree. They have experience, and they also have some excellent drivers. The thing I found with F1 is now it's a business decision on how they're going to, what that entry fee will cost for prize money split, so that it's a viable business decision to bring them in, which could bump it up to $600 million, I'm hearing, to get in. But the team belongs there. They've got General Motors. I would love to see, some of the drivers like Kyle Kirkwood. I think he's got the stuff, and it would be nice to see Andretti in there, because I think they belong.
Yeah, and I'm glad that when we look at the history in the last 20 years, the FIA have not, I'm glad that this new FIA series here in the States is important, because when Michael, in the early 90s, Michael Andretti, went to Formula One, he was given up a life in the States, and a good life too, because this is a very, not insular, that's maybe not the right word, but it's a complete racing scene here in America. And so if you want to do what Logan Sargent has achieved, you do need to do what he did, which is to go to Europe as a kid and stay there, quite literally. And the same is true of Alexander Rossi. He went at 14, lived in London. I was just down the road from him. I used to go and interview him. But you need to spend time in Europe, or you're not even considered, because you're just not seen. And the Europeans weren't looking to this part of the world for young race drivers. That's changing now in the last few years with this F4 and FR championship. And I think it's a very good thing, because it doesn't mean that you have to give up your whole teenage life to go and live in Europe. You can achieve the same, get it to a level here in an FIA series, be noticed, get the TV, and move on. And I think we're going to see more of it as our youngsters.
I hope so. I think this series and the FR America series, great feeder racing to achieve a career that could be in Europe and potentially get you to F2 and F3, or F2 and F1 for those drivers that could make it. But we're looking at a pretty nice race here with a restart that's going to be the drama of all time, I think.
Yeah,
What do you think?
and yeah, I'm going to say this could be one of the most critical restarts of the championship so far, given that we're coming down to the wire, given that we've got just one race to go this weekend after this race, and then 3 more to go at COTA. So you've got to get it now. This is the time to steal it.
Yeah, I think the safety car is going to go in here,
Yeah.
and we're going to have our restart.
Yeah, and they're only going to have a couple of laps as well, so the most they can probably get in. So Woodstoff knows this. Patrick Woodstoff, the youngster from Canada, and Crosslink Motorsports. Actually, the light's still on, so I wonder if we'll get another lap. We'll see. If he turns them off halfway down the hill, we'll know he's coming in. If he doesn't, we're doing another lap. I'm still not quite 100% sure what they're repairing or what they're doing, but there you go.
Yeah, from the drone, it looked like the light was out.
No, but it's not, is it?
Nope.
So, well, Patrick knows that too, and he'd be better than anybody else to judge it because he can see it better than anybody else, but we'll soon see. No, he's doing another lap. And now it does get critical because we're now getting into a point where, well, 0 laps to go. Are we getting a checkered flag, I wonder? I'll look out the window myself, but... So we slowly approach the start-finish. Under caution, and no, we've got a double yellow. We'll go round again, but I've got a feeling we could end up under or finish under caution. Now, as we go round slowly, though, we may get a better indication as to what is holding proceedings up. But Woods Toth will be probably sighing relief that he doesn't have to go hell-bent for leather in this lap anyway. And Soto Shripo, with his tail up after his first win, would have been chomping at the bit to go racing. But now it makes it hard. You said how hard it is earlier to keep these cars up to the temperatures, and now we've had, what, several laps now, very slow laps, and your car's now just hanging on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Woods Toth, Soto Shripa, Cara, Costello, good result so far for Michael if he gets up there, because he had a spin in the first race, but he's in the 4th position at the moment. Titus Sherlock, likewise, a winner at New Jersey, now in 5th place, ahead of Lacey in 6th. Guanio in 7th place, Benavides in 8th. Martinez now back up to 9th, and Greenmeyer into the top 10. So Hannah Greenmeyer making it into the top 10 just ahead of Durst. She's done well there because she was further down. There is a tow truck. That's the problem. So we did have an incident. I was actually looking at the corner of my eye as to where Scott Goodyear was looking, and he was looking in this direction. So there's a car being hauled out that they couldn't tow out, and so they've had to pick it up. And so we've got 2 hauled trucks, and there's no way you can go racing like that. Now, they should get off fairly swiftly. There must be an exit halfway up this straight somewhere where it can get off. I'm sure there is.
Yeah, it looks like it went off in turn 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't see it actually happen. Here's an exit here, so he can get out of here at least and let things get going again. But the clock has ticked down, and I'm just not sure whether we're going to go racing again at this point. Patience, one of the biggest things I think any of these drivers can learn. Anybody can go fast and get the adrenaline. It's learning to use that adrenaline at the right time. That's the key to racing. And this is the hard part for these motor racing drivers.
Yeah, the clock's got 27 minutes, 47 seconds.
So, yeah, so it's a 30-minute race. Yeah, I've got 2 minutes just left. So we may just get a sprint last lap, yeah?
We might.
Okay, good. Which will give us the excitement of that first corner, and Soto Shripa will be very excited to get going again. But watch out for Cara and Costello too, because we've seen it in the past. Berg's dropped all the way down to 20th. What a shame. Alex Berg was having a great weekend until that moment.
That was a real shame. He was doing great.
I know. To go. He got the lead by a nose, and then, as you say, hit the marbles or. So you can get marbles on the inside as well, because I always think of them on the outside.
Well, the outside's the driver line.
Ah, right, of course.
So the racing line's on the outside. So with all the racing that's happened today, my thought is that there's a lot of marbles on the inside right there. He picked it up, and he just couldn't keep the grip.
Interesting.
Because he was coming in pretty hot.
Well, we'll see Kevin in action. Okay, and we've just heard from Race Control that the lights are out, but you'll see Kevin in action later today in the FR. Where he's starting?
Oh, I think I'm near the back there.
Near the back.
Yeah, but my sponsor's coming today, so I got to do.
You got to go good then. What is your sponsor? We'll tell the world.
Oh, it's my sponsor is Kara Jansen, my wife.
So, well, then you better be on best behavior then.
Yeah. This is the first race she'll have seen me in this year. So.
Oh, good. That's nice though.
Yeah. So the sponsor.
Top management are in town. Well, talking of top management, Woods Toth is trying to impress his, because now we are going to have a restart and we are going to have a sprint to the finish, and it's going to be short. Woods Toth has got to get it right first time. He accelerates away. So does Schrieffer, goes with him. So does Cara, now in third. Costello fourth, and Sherlock. It's going to be a mighty battle to that first corner. But who's going to take it? Woods Toth has got to get his elbows out here as we come down to the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, and it's anybody's turn to take a turn at the lead, but Woods Toth does hold them off. And several cars going off there, including the 21 of Ava Dobson, the new girl in town, as you can see, hitting the steering wheel in disgruntlement there. And one of the Ganella cars also going off. And look at it, it's getting pretty racy there for fifth place. 3 cars involved in that battle. Woods Toth still holding off for the lead, going through Snake, bouncing over the curbs. But now that back straight is going to be all important. There's not really an overtake through here, or is there? You tell me.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll wait for 11 or do it on the back straight.
Yeah.
But it looks like there's a couple of moves that are going to happen on the back straight.
There you go then, coming through 11 and 12 is the place to look for. That's at Customers Bank, Oak Tree Bend. Woods Toth, though, is through there as one goes off, and into the barriers heavily goes the 16. And that is game over for Jesse Lacey, and he too bangs the steering wheel in utter frustration.
And that was likely tires.
But we're on the final lap, and there goes the draft, and he's got it, and he's got the lead, has he? Into the lead then goes Sona Schrieffer, and that was a beautiful overtake using the draft, and really not a lot of places to come back at him now.
No, that was a clean move, done perfectly, executed, and it looks like...
Well, it could be 2 for 2 on the day if he makes this stick. Time running out, this is the final lap. And it is going to be Augusto Sona Schrieffer of Florida coming to the line, and he's going to take win number 2 on the day. 1 in the wet, 1 in the dry. There's the checkered flag, and he takes it in style. Great restart and great use of the slipstream to take the win ahead of Woods Toth, who really could do nothing about that.
No, he didn't.
No. And Daniel Cara in the end takes 3rd overall.
Started at 4th, finished 1st.
Nicely done. Michael Costello has a good run and a good recovery from this morning. He takes 4th position. Kekai Guanio takes 5th. Titus Sherlock top 6. Alex Benavides in 7th. And Hannah Greenmeyer all the way up to 8th in the end. She was 10th at the restart, so she made up a couple of places as well. Good result for her. Luciano Martinez, who started on the pole, finishes 9th. Bacon Zelenka finishes in 10th position. So, plenty to talk about in that one, but a decisive race for Sona Schrieffer, who, interestingly enough, of all those involved in the championship chase, was way back. At the beginning of the weekend, he was 9th in the championship with just 50 points. So he has just taken another 50 out of these last 2 races. So that's really impressive. So now he's going to move right up the board and put himself, as we head towards COTA, if he can get another decent result out of the 3rd race of the weekend, put himself back into contention for a top 3 spot.
Well done. Well done.
Well, my thanks to Kevin Jansen joining me here in the booth, but Augusto Sona Schrieffer with win number 2 on the day for International Motorsports. Great win ahead of Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Patrick Woods Toth, Daniel Cara in 3rd with Cara Origin Motorsports, and Michael Costello the 1st of the J. Howard development drivers. He takes 4th. Kekai Guanio in 5th place, and Titus Sherlock 6th. Benavides in 7th. Hannah Greenmeyer in 8th position again for Crosslink, and Luciano Martinez, who started pole but finishes 9th for Scudari Buell, and Bacon Zelenka rounding out the top 10.
And a big thanks to Tony Perella for putting on this great event. fantastic weather we have here, but this is really a fantastic event we have with all the different series that are running here today, and then Connie for allowing all of us to use her beautiful VIR.
Yes, very good point. Yeah. This, as Paul Newman described, heaven on earth.
Absolutely.
So that concludes our coverage of the second F4 race. As we said, we will see Kevin in action in the, what number, 24?
I am in 24.
And he's got the big boss in town, so he's got to impress her, as always, because she pays the checks and allows him to go and enjoy himself at the weekends. So she's come to check him out.
Yeah, she did. She flew in this afternoon.
Good for her.
She's taking an Uber to the track.
Does she like motorsport?
Yeah, she does actually. She really likes
Probably
it.
Doesn't prefer you doing it.
Oh, well, no, she doesn't mind.
Okay.
She took out a big insurance policy on me, so I think
that's a smart woman.
Yeah, I think she's coming with her attorney and the insurance policy, and she was hoping for rain, but
yeah.
I didn't get that. So
push harder, honey.
Yeah, push harder. Yeah.
So the Shripa, look at that. Well, we saw all this celebrations for the Floridian earlier this morning, and if you missed that race, he won it in style. He got lucky a little bit because Woods Toth had a spin right at the end, and I think that allowed him through, but this one was all him. And in a moment, we'll get that helmet off, and we'll get John Phippen in the picture. There he is. And as soon as we see this helmet coming off, and it is, we'll head down to John. John, over to you, and let's hear from our winner today. Nicely done by Augusto.
Wow. Yeah. Just wait for TV to come to us.
Down to you, John.
Thanks, Jonathan. 2 in a row for Augie Soto Sharipa. You saved the best for last. That last lap pass got it done.
Yeah, had to be patient. I knew the last lap was going to make it happen. I didn't send it in turn 1, knowing that he was going to block, try to keep everyone behind me. My main goal was him, and we got it done, man. I'm super, super happy for me, the team. I mean, we put together a great car, obviously, went out on used tires. I mean, it's awesome. We're dialed.
You like a VIR, I'm sure.
Oh, my God. I thought I loved Mid-Ohio, but I think I love VIR now.
Congratulations, Jonathan. A very happy winner. 2 in a row.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that at the perfect time in the season in the penultimate round, and does it in style in the Honda-powered F4. So well done to Augie, as he called him, Augusto Soto Shripa, a great name and a good racing name. My thanks to Kevin Jensen. He'll be in the number 24. He'll be in the number 24 coming up later in the day for FR. We'll take a short break from VIR. More coming from the Speed Tour. Stay with us.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
Mm-hmm.